Hello everybody and welcome to BeginnerJS. My name's Abrar and I'm going to be your instructor for this video. In this video, we are going to introduce you to JavaScript, understand what JavaScript is, and talk about all the things that you're going to be learning in this 10-part mini course. So let's get started. Okay, so first of all, let's tackle the most basic and simplest question ever. What exactly is JavaScript? So we're learning about JavaScript is helpful to understand what is the definition of the language and what exactly can JavaScript do. Well, in plain and simple English, JavaScript is actually just a programming language. It is mostly used on the web along with HTML and CSS in order to build dynamic and interactive web applications. So basically, JavaScript is a programming language. A programming language can be used to program software, websites, applications, etc. JavaScript is different than most other programming languages in the case that it is mostly used on the web, which means it's used on websites and web applications, mostly inside web pages, along with HTML and CSS. HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are the three main web technologies that are used to build websites and web applications. And JavaScript is specifically used to build dynamic and interactive web applications. Building dynamic and interactive applications is not possible with HTML and CSS. They have limitations. There are a lot of things that HTML and CSS can't do, and that's where JavaScript comes in. We start with HTML to define the basic structure of a web page, then you put in CSS to style that HTML, and then you put in the JavaScript code to actually add dynamic logic and behavior to your code, thus making a dynamic and interactive web application. So JavaScript fills in the gap where HTML and CSS falls short. Now, there are a lot of things that JavaScript can do inside a browser on a web page. For example, JavaScript can communicate with the server and send and retrieve data to and from the server, and thus it can communicate with the server through HTTP requests that otherwise is not possible with just HTML and CSS. JavaScript also handles complex tasks such as managing browser APIs and even third-party APIs. So whenever you see some content on a web page getting dynamically updated in real time, that is where JavaScript is at work. Similarly, when you see maps, videos, or other multimedia content on a web page, those are usually done using the help of JavaScript as well. JavaScript also makes an application interactive, which means it can react to the different things the user can do. For example, if on a web page a user clicks on a button and a pop-up shows up, then that is JavaScript at work. There are a lot of other things that JavaScript can do, and because JavaScript is so widely used on the web, it is considered the #1 most popular programming language in the world and also the programming language of the web. Okay, now let's talk about the core features of JavaScript. This BeginnerJS mini course is a 10-part course, and in the next 10 parts, we will talk about the 10 core features of JavaScript. So if you go through this course, you'll be able to learn the 10 core features of JavaScript. What are they exactly? Well, let's find out. So the first core feature that you'll be learning about JavaScript are strings. Strings inside JavaScript is used to represent normal text. Then you're going to be learning about numbers. Now numbers are used to represent numerical values inside JavaScript. Then you learn about Booleans, another core feature of JavaScript, which are used to denote true or false, positive or negative, 0 or 1 values. You'll also learn about operators, which are used to do mathematical and numerical calculations inside JavaScript. We'll also learn about variables, which are used as containers for storing values. Then we'll learn about arrays. Arrays are also a core feature of JavaScript. Arrays are used to store a list of related and similar values together. We'll also learn about conditionals. Conditionals are used to control the execution flow of the code. And we'll also learn about functions, a very important core feature of JavaScript. Functions can be used to save blocks of code to be reused later on. Then we'll learn about objects. Objects are actually everywhere in JavaScript, and almost everything in JavaScript is actually an object. So it is a very important core feature of JavaScript because objects are considered the building blocks of the JavaScript programming language. And finally, in the last part, we'll learn about loops, which can be used to repeat the same or similar code multiple times automatically. So these are the 10 core features of JavaScript. And if you go through this BeginnerJS mini course, then you'll be able to learn, understand, and use these 10 core features of JavaScript easily. The goal of this course is to help you learn and understand the fundamentals of JavaScript, and also help you become a beginner JavaScript developer. This course will help you get a grasp on the fundamentals of JavaScript, and with that knowledge, you'll be well on your way to learning more advanced JavaScript later on and becoming a more advanced level JavaScript developer. So in the next 10 parts, we will start learning JavaScript and actually even see some code. I'll see you there.